Wager.lv, the premier online sportsbook, taking wagers since 1998. The most player-friendly lines, weekly juice specials, and a true dime line in MLB. Unique casino platforms with thousands of games. Play poker, high stakes, low stakes, or tournament play. Uwager.lv, what we offer. Free same-day payouts. Customer service and wagering support, 24/7, year-round. Free monthly rebates on your action and daily casino rebates. Contests, free bets, best bonuses, and giveaways. Generous referral program. Get an 80% free play bonus on your first deposit, up to $1,000. Sign up today, and use promo code SPORTSWEB. Remember, you can't win if you don't play.
Are you an athlete or professional struggling with life or career transition? Life isn't always easy, but hope is always present. Best Hope Counseling will help you move forward. For nearly a decade, licensed marriage and family therapist Larry Baumgartner has helped clients empower change and discover solutions using a solution-focused therapy approach. Conversations will focus on what you desire to change, not just the problems that brought you into counseling. From anger to depression or other emotions, Best Hope Counseling is there for you. Contact Larry personally on his direct line at 727-946-1346. Again, 727-946-1346 for a telehealth appointment in Florida and Minnesota, or in person an appointment in Minnesota. Take time out and begin your game plan to reconnect, rebuild, and restore happiness in your life. BestHopeCounseling.com. What's going on, guys? It's Peter Blake here, live on the Sports Web from Raymond James Stadium after your USF Bulls take care of business over the Rice Owls to move to 2-2, 42-29. Well, my co-host here, Mr. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy. How are you doing tonight, buddy?
Brother, first of all, thanks for getting me in here today. Had a great time, had a great game, got a new man crush, a lot to talk about, just excited. Great day for Bulls football after last week's loss to Alabama, but we posed it was a great game, and you talked about what kind of intense team or what kind of team we'd see here today against these Rice Owls, and I think some answers were questioned.
Well, I think some questions were answered. Definitely, you look at the statistics, but I think it always comes down to what, USF Bulls fans, could they carry over the same effort that they carried over to Alabama? And for the first three quarters, it certainly looked like Rice was in the game. Not taking it away from Rice, because you look at their quarterback, JT Daniels. He played for USC. He played for Georgia for a couple of seasons. Very talented player. You also had Luke McCaffrey. We were saying this in the press box. He kind of looks like Christian McCaffrey. Well, guess what? It's his brother.
Right. I mean, and they're utilizing him as like a wildcat type of a receiver.
Yeah.
But he was finding all the seams in the USF defense today. And you were right. Halfway through, you felt they were going to break out. The Bulls were. And then, of course, they finally did there in the late third and into fourth quarter.
They did. Byron Brown for the day, 23 for 30, 436 yards, 2 touchdowns. No interceptions,
yes.
So you win the turnover war there. Also had 14 carries for 82 yards and a career day for Mr. Naeem Simmons. Check this out. 7 catches, 220 yards, 1 touchdown. And we talked about it all day long. We talked about it last week, how Brown missed some shots down the field. This time, he didn't miss those shots early on in the game, maybe, but later on, he definitely hit those shots, and Simmons had a big day. In fact, he is the leading Bulls receiver in USF history with the 220-yard performance. Unbelievable. And I actually think I think it's more than that, to tell you the truth. I'm looking at the statistics right now because I don't think they're updated. I'm going to go ahead and update
while you check those out,
I think it was 200. Excuse me. I thought it was 277 yards.
Okay, because he did have that last reception when the new quarterback came in. But I'll tell you what, we just talked about this last night on Cup of Ray. You talked about the 2 receivers that ended up going out to play in Colorado that got away. And we said one of the ways that Coach Alex Golesh and one of the ways these Bulls, this program is going to continue to get these dogs in here at talented like Simmons and receiver is possibly to start setting some records. We didn't say set records. We were just saying start to get off. They didn't feed last week versus that Alabama defense. Rice wasn't a pushover, but the Bulls' offense really started to click today too, and they put it together with a great defensive performance. How many, what was it, negative 30-something yards rushing for the Rice Owls? It was crazy.
I mean, it was crazy, and that's the kind of effort you want to see from this Bulls team because, again, they did it last week. They were able to do it this week. They got after Daniels on some key situations, especially 4th down later on in the game. I mean, that's what you want to see. Daquan Evans, we talked about him last week, 3 sacks. He was all over the place. He also got a little bit banged up there. You had some players that stepped up today. That's exactly. You also had the USF defense give up some big plays in this game to a lot of Bulls fans' chagrin at the end of the day.
Got to keep them in front of you. Got to keep them in front of you at least. Yeah.
Yes, agree. Absolutely agree. So, of course, the USF Bulls go on to beat Rice 42-29. What other thoughts? What other things did you see in this game from the press box? By the way, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
You said you're welcome.
Rice,
you're welcome.
Rice.
No, Rice.
Rice and USF, yes. I don't know why I keep on saying Rice, yeah.
No, Rice.
Right, Rice-A-Roni.
The San Francisco treat.
And actually,
McCaffrey, there's a tie there.
Yes,
I get it. No, but what I saw is, again, I got to stay here. I know coming in that Coach Golesh, I know Alex Golesh, I know the type of coach he is. I did not realize the intensity level to which he kicks it up. He is in control of everything. And even the things that I see him defaulting and deferring to his coaching staff, and it's a very good coaching staff these Bulls have, I still see Coach Golesh going over there and making sure he's in control. And I think you see it go down to the coaches and you see it go down to the players, and I even see it going down to the students here in the student section in the band, is that it's just a controlled program. And I don't want to get, like the second week of the NFL season, I don't want to get too off the beaten path, but I'm starting to see this program come together. And you said this last night. Looks like Coach Golesh might be that coach that's really going to tie things together for this USF Bulls program.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I want to get this correct. Naeem Simmons in the game, single game receiving yardage leader, 7 catches for 261 yards. Again, I believe he got more. I don't know why it's not updating, but again, he is the single all-time leading receiver in USF history. So a great day by him. And I tell you what, let's go through the game in itself here because you have basically the Bulls strike first here.
Right.
12-play, 62-yard drive with a 31-yard field goal by John Cannon. That was kind of the story of the beginning of the game there, getting stopped, having opportunities to hit receivers, not able to make that. So it stalls out. But Brown, on that drive, 6 for 6 for 54 yards. So that wasn't because of him. It's because they weren't able to convert that third down. Also, USF drive, the second one there, it also ends with a field goal, 40-yarder by John Cannon. Again, Brown overthrew Brown Stevens on a second and short and then got bottled up in the backfield on third and short. So it's 7-6, a close game there. And, of course, I want to go to this really quick before I forget. Harry the Greek said it best. 88% rule was
in effect.
Yes. Because coming into the game, USF was 2.5 underdogs. He took the 88% rule. If you bet on USF tonight, you won big-time money.
Harry the Greek carried you through with the 88%, the home underdog rule, and the home underdog rule continues to rule the day.
All right, so the USF defense stops Rice there, a 30-yard field goal that is missed by the kicker. In fact, the kicker missed 2 field goals. He was probably one of the best players on USF tonight.
And you wonder, because that was in a game where it was still very much back and forth, very much still in contention. The Bulls ended up pushing it over the top, but those 2 missed field goals allowed USF to stay right within it within 1 score. By 1 point, they end up getting ahead, and then they end up locking it up.
So, again, another missed field goal by Rice. Of course, at the time, the Owls had 194 yards of offense at that point, but still 7-6 before halftime. So even though Rice in the stat column basically dominated that first half, you had to feel good if you're a Bulls fan that the Bulls were keeping it in check, that their defense was able to get off the field, that they were able to stop Rice. And then, of course, once again, being aided by 2 missed field goals definitely helped.
And those 2 big, like you said, the receivers got behind the Bulls defense for those big receptions that took 14 points right there on 2 big plays. Other than that, the Bulls controlled the stats on its board today.
They did, absolutely. Of course, then third quarter begins. They get a downfield shot. We saw it all day long where Brown was missing those. He hit Simmons for 53 yards. On 2nd and 19, K'Wan Powell finds a small seam up the middle, goes in for USF. They're up 13-7. And then with 15 seconds to play in the half, actually it's 7-6 in the first quarter, 13-7 before halftime. And then Rice goes up with Dean Connors with a 2-yard touchdown for Rice, 14-13 at halftime. Still feeling good about yourself, only down 1 point. And then, again, Brown hits a 51-yard connection to Naeem Simmons and then goes in, basically skipping in the end zone to make it 20-14 at that point.
You mentioned how Brown in the first half, couple of overthrows on the deep passes, too much ball, not enough. Wasn't too short, was too long.
Right.
But then once he makes that long connection there, it seems like he really put himself into a groove, because then from there on, it seemed like he couldn't miss.
Okay, and then Brown also again goes downfield, gets Al-Jafri Brown over the middle. One-handed catch.
That was sweet.
Amazing. Odell Beckham-like there. Snags it. They get inside the 10. Travis Faley, he was also in the press box. He was down on the field doing great camera work, as he always does, of Rocket Sports and Entertainment. He said, you know what, I would have rather them, Coach Golish, who has shown the propensity, Leo word, to go for it on 4th down. He goes for it on 4th and 3. They get a break there with interference on the other team, so they get second life. But then their running back fumbles the ball, gives the ball right back to Rice, and Bulls are only up 20-14. And then Rice hits a big play down the field to go up 21-20. At that point, going back to Travis's point, do you just kick the points, or do you go with it? You be aggressive, like this coach has been the last couple of weeks throughout the whole season. Tempo, plays, leading the NCAA. Do you settle for the field goal, or do you like the decision to go for it on 4th down?
I like the decision to go for it on 4th down, and I'll tell you why, though, because there were so many times that Rice was trying to get the USF Bulls, where in turn, The Bulls actually got Rice to jump off sides and got some free plays. These Bulls are playing disciplined football, and when you've got a team playing disciplined football, you can afford to go for one every now and then. It also raises everybody's hopes and gets everybody a little bit more excited, and that seemed to be what happened here today for the Bulls.
What you're watching right now is the post-game edition for USF. Your USF Bulls move on to 2-2, 42-29 over Rice. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, live from Raymond James Stadium. So Naquan Wright fumbles on the goal line. Again, Rice gets a big play. They go an 80-yard touchdown, and that was kind of the worry today. Say whatever you want to about the Bulls defense keeping this team in check, but too many big plays today, and I think Coach Golish will go back in the film and say, what happened? What kind of breakdowns? I get it. They're a young team. I get it. They're looking for those foundation wins, but you can't give up those big plays like he did today against a team like Rice, who is just as talented as any of the teams,
right?
Probably more talented with the skill positions with McCaffrey, what we saw from him today.
And we did with Alabama last week.
Yeah,
thinking, right?
He looked like his brother today.
Right, and here's the thing, though, and that came right on the edge of the fumble down here in the south end zone on the goal line. I thought the knee was down, but it wasn't. They didn't even review it, so I know Coach Golish knew it wasn't. And then the very next play, that 80 yards. So that was a point in the game where that very much, again, had you not had a team disciplined, had you not had a team well coached, could have went the other way, but these Bulls locked it down, and they got it going in the right direction.
Absolutely got it in the right direction. JT Daniels was very good in this game. And, of course, once again, he's the same JT Daniels that played at Georgia for 2 years. He's the same JT Daniels that was highly recruited. So, once again, talent all over the place for this Rice team. They're not going to lay down by any means. Now, I think it's great here with the response. They go for it on fourth down. USF sacks, so they get the ball back. And then, once again, Brown bombs away to Naeem Simmons for 51 yards. Basically sets up the next touchdown there. Coffee Brown over the middle. Brown then snags and then you go 51-yard touchdown to Simmons, 27-21. That's late in the third quarter. 2 plays, 55 yards. So Rice tries to go for it on fourth down. The defense stands up. You give the Bulls offense a short field, and they go right down the field and score a touchdown. What did you think of that play?
Well, I love the play. I love the fact that going to Simmons, it wasn't like they were going over the top and trying to feed the stats. This was very much a game that was in contention till late. Simmons was coming up big, but again, I love the fact that you get this offense going with the defense we saw last week and then the defense we saw again today. Even with Evans, I think he's wearing a patch there in the third and fourth quarter because he took a hard hit. It immediately went for his neck. It probably I don't want to say a stinger, probably just like a really good cramp or a nice pain. But the fact of the matter is that you got a receiver now starting to set records, and it starts to put it all over the radar as you're talking about the future as we start, promoting. I saw Coach Golish go over here talking to all these young guys out here, these young players that were over here.
He was upset. He was pumped up in this game, and I like that. He was aggressive. He was still coaching, even when the game is somewhat not in doubt anymore. Still coaching up these kids. Jalen Stokes was the guy that was getting chewed out by the coach there, and you like to see that because again, he's still coaching until the final whistle. It's a more of an aggressive team. You're going for it on fourth down, and it certainly seems like these players right now are buying into Coach Golish's foundation.
And why? And exactly to follow up, the reason why he was coaching him up was because it was right down here on the south end zone. You and I were already on the sideline, and a couple of the Rice players were goading him into a fight. The Bulls already had a game contention was over. The Bulls had that game,
right?
And that's what Coach Golish was doing. He was coaching him up to realize, hey, play like a champion, like you've been here before. Walk away from that because there may be a game where it is in doubt still, and that could be something that could lead to a very bad penalty and cost us something.
All right, so the Bulls moved to 2-2 with a good win against Rice. They face Navy next week. Any other thoughts here on USF's big win tonight at Raymond James Stadium?
Just from that very first play in the first quarter, when the defense jumped off, it caused USF to have the false start. They didn't call it as an encroachment or a neutral zone infraction, and I was standing right next to Coach Golish, and he got so lit up.
Yeah.
And that was my first encounter or my first availability to see how Coach coaches, and I'm loving it. I put it on my Facebook. I say, hey, it's my new man crush. I take that seriously only because I love defensive. I love tough coaches. And Coach Golish was an offensive guy coming in here. I saw defense last week, but then today, being my first time on the sidelines with Coach Golish and his new USF regime, I was able to see that they're taking care of, they're checking boxes on the offensive side. and also on the defense and special team side. I mean, really,
Yes.
it was a pretty much all-around pretty good game for your USF Bulls today.
All right, so other stories around college football today, and it was a big day of college football. Florida State survives. They win in overtime 31-24. You watched some of this game. What did you think of that? Unbelievable defensive play later on in the game because it looked like Clemson was going down the score. They're up 24-17. Guy goes on a corner blitz, causes the fumble, goes in for the touchdown to tie that up. And at that point, I think it was all Florida State's momentum, but it certainly looked like Clemson had Florida State on the ropes. I get it. They're a number 4 team. They've had a slow start today, but they're able to pull off this win. How big of a win is it for Florida State against Clemson today?
It's huge because as much as we can say it could have been a trap game, it very much could have been a Clemson shows up today. They hadn't shown up much this year, but a big story for this Clemson team, but more importantly for local prep players here in the Pinellas County area is Gunn, the highly touted and recruited kicker for Clemson, the freshman, former Osceola High School player, former Madeira Beach student, and I'm throwing it out there, but they brought a new kicker back in, or a previous kicker who was replaced when Gunn came in because Gunn had some trouble early this season, and that kicker had a chance late in the fourth to get a go-ahead field goal, and he missed it and very much let Florida State win it in overtime. So for the Clemson Tigers, that's a story moving forward. For the FSU Seminoles, fantastic victory today.
And then the other story is Oregon just absolutely blew the doors off of Colorado today, 42-6 for Deion Sanders to suffer his Coach Prime to suffer his first loss. What were your thoughts about that? Because it certainly seemed like the coach for Oregon was ready. They were ready. The talent there. I get it. Colorado's trying to build this program. Offensively, they may have some weapons. Of course, being without Travis Hunter is never going to help you out. But defensively, they got lots of work to do, and they got a reality check by Oregon.
Expected a big offensive output from Oregon. Kind of expected the Colorado Buffaloes to kind of be in it a little more offensively.
Yeah.
Seems like once they ran up against that Oregon team today and then that defense for Oregon played inspired, they were able to put those Colorado Buffaloes back in their place. I think it's a great thing. Coach Deion wasn't going to go undefeated this season. Shadur probably wasn't going to win a Heisman Trophy. Could still. But, I mean, at the same time, it gives these kids, get them a little hungry, give them work a little harder. And for us, fans of football, that just means good football going down the way.
All right, so here's the official statistics. Never trust Google. Byron Brown, 22 for 29, 435 yards, 2 touchdowns. Once again, no interceptions, no fumbles in this game. Also led them with rushing, 14 for 82 with 1 touchdown. When you watch him play,
so fast.
He's only 18 years old.
Incredible.
You know, the sky's the limit. This is where USF Bulls should really get excited over the next couple of years. This year and then also the next couple of years, because you know he's only going to get better. The passing game's going to get better. Hit some deep shots today. Made some good decisions. Once again, no turnovers. I could continue to just harp on that all day long. But what do you see from this kid when you watch him?
Leadership. I see cool in the pocket. I see somebody who's not getting lost in the minutia, trusts his checkdowns, is making his receivers. The only time he had those few overthrows was early because the arm was a little too alive, and then fast, can pull it down, but doesn't look to pull it down and run first. Looks to make the pass, and if the pass isn't there, then he can pull it down. I think that is a great start for an 18-year-old quarterback.
And official statistics here, again, leading wide receiver in USF history, Naeem Simmons, 8 catches, 272 yards with 1 touchdown. Not 220, 272. They are officially Sean Atkins, 8 catches for 73 yards, 1 touchdown. Also had another throw and a 2-point conversion. So it seems like they've kind of found something with him. And then Joffrey Brown, 1 catch for 59 yards. We talked about that one. So overall, the passing game was there today. They got to have more balance from the running game, and it has to start not just with Brown, but it has to be somebody else. Naquan Wright, he's definitely physical, but you can't fumble the ball. That right there, that really hurt them. That took the momentum away. And we talked about it during this game. We felt like USF could have ran away with it. They were just that close to blowing the game open, but for some reason they couldn't do it. Give Rice credit where credit is due, and you can't have that fumble on the goal line. Even though you kind of win the turnover battle there with not throwing interceptions, you still fumble the ball, and you give Rice that opportunity. And they take advantage of it with the 80-yard touchdown.
They were getting the passes. That quarterback couldn't miss in the first half for Rice, but then it seemed like as the Bulls started to get that lead and they started to apply that pressure in the middle there, the quarterback started to hear some shadows a little bit. Maybe he started to see some ghosts, and the Bulls were able to really get on him then.
For the game, 162 rushing yards, so that's pretty good. Again, K'Wan Powell, 9 carries for 55 yards. Naquan Wright, 15 for 32. And once again, Brown leading the way, just lumbering all over the place defensively. You had a sack by Lloyd Summerall, not to be confused with Pat Summerall. Yes, I know you were going to say that. Tramel Logan with a half a sack there. You also had 1.5 sacks by DJ Gordon. And we talked about Evans. What do you think of this defense? Besides the fact of giving up the big plays there, big plays seem like coverage breakdowns, young guys. I mean, what do you say about giving up all those giving up all those big-time plays?
It feels so funny to talk about an Alabama last week and talk about a Rice this week and the skill position this Rice team had. But what I felt from this defense today is that as opposed to how last week they got up and they played one of the biggest, strongest behemoths in the entire SEC, let alone college football, and Nick Saban's Alabama Crimson Tide. Today they played a Rice team they had some really good, like you said, some specialty players, and they let them get behind. They can't do that, but that's great tape. Anytime you can get tape like that to look at in a victory, that's only going to pay dividends down the road.
It is going to pay dividends, and it's paid dividends for USF as they move to 2-2. Defeating the Rice Owls 42-29. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, live from Raymond James Stadium. Guys, stay tuned here in just a couple days. We'll be live on the Sports Web. As always, post-game show, yours truly, along with the great J.P. Peterson in collaboration with the J.P. Peterson Show. Before that, we'll be at the patio. So we'll be at the patio, I think, from 4 to 6, maybe 5 to 7.
Am I going to be on J.P. Peterson Show?
Well, I mean, you can
always call in.
You can always call in if you want to. We'll figure this out. I tell you right now, you've been definitely a great resource. Nothing against Leo Haggerty. Love Leo, but you helped me with the camera tonight. My back has been stiff, so if I look a little weird trying to stand up, it's been kind of hard to try to stand up today. But that USF defense stood up when they needed to. Even though they give up some big plays, they're still able to get off the field there. You look at the final statistics, final numbers for third down efficiency, which is always key. 7 for 18 for Rice. Say whatever you want to about the big plays, but the Bulls tonight did stand up and get some stops.
Rice was 3 of 4 on third downs in the first half and the end of the first quarter. So right then and there, because they were making those check down passes and they were getting some of that success, but then the Bulls were able to shut them down in the second half and then pad their own third down statistics. And of course, that's always an important indicator as to a victory as well.
All right, I want to read some of these comments as I lean down here. Ben Cornett, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
I'll play my sound effects because JP
Wait,
doesn't.
I go down too?
Well, no, please don't. I mean, I need like somebody here to do this, like a robotic arm or something. Watching Dilfer's team hang in with Georgia 7-7 halfway through the second quarter.
UAB,
I mean, Georgia had problems last week with South Carolina, and it always goes back to the quarterback. Do they have one? I'm not sure what they have there right now. What about Alabama? I heard Alabama's also struggling with their game versus, is it Miss State today that they're playing?
Mississippi State. They did end up winning, but they were struggling down there, and it ended up being like 24-13, I believe. I'm not 100% correct here, but I know I was watching on the board there, the out-of-town scoreboard. I noticed that they didn't give us the Colorado Oregon score in the stadium whatsoever.
42-6. I mean, I'm surprised by that. I thought that it is. It's back to reality. It is, and I love that song. Thank you very much for singing it in my ear. Clyda Brown says, cool. Thank you very much, Clyda. How about those Rays? That was the other story. Your Tampa Bay Rays won in walk-off fashion. Once again, Josh Lowe doing the honors. And, look, this team somehow, some way, with the multitude of injuries, Leo Ward, with Brandon Lau going out 4 to 6 weeks, with the pitching injuries, with Luke Raley, the kid coming up today. First at bat, first hit.
Camarino love this.
Yes.
Next man up mentality with this Rays team in 2023.
It is, and they win a big-time game here. Now we'll see if Baltimore can lose because Baltimore lost last night. Everybody's correcting me on my post. When I posted it, the Rays were only 2 games out. They actually started the day one and a half games out.
So they'll be a half a game with a Baltimore loss tonight.
Well, we'll check.
We'll
see. We'll see what happens there. But a big-time walk-off win for the Tampa Bay Rays after blowing a 5-0 lead, and Fairbanks just was a disaster.
Because I got to tell the people.
Yes.
We're sitting in the press box.
Yes.
We're watching this, and you didn't say it.
I'm trying to do both things at the same time.
But when we're up 5-0, you didn't say it, but you almost felt like you wanted to say maybe a rocking chair game, and you didn't want to say it because next thing you know, the Rays are down 6-5.
But that's the weirdest thing about Fairbanks and they won 7-6, of course, I believe, right? 7-6. Check my scores here, man.
7-6. They won.
Okay, 7-6 in walk-off fashion with Josh Lowe, with also. Caminero beating out a double play. They reviewed the play. He beat it out. So that's another thing. Hustle. Kids got everything. It's amazing. One of the youngest players in Major League Baseball at 20 years old. B.J. Upton for the Rays, 19 years old. Amazing. Andrew Jones. Talked to John Smoltz this week about that.
Great interview, by the way.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Started from the bottom, and now we're here at Raymond James Stadium after USF beats Rice 42-29. But going back to it with the Rays, Fairbanks, I can't really figure it out because there's times where he's throwing smoke, 97, 100 miles an hour. And then there's times like tonight, and we saw against the Guardians, where Wander Franco has to win in walk-off fashion, which is so long ago. But he has these type of games. You're a baseball fan. Can you really depend on Fairbanks going forward as your top closer?
I go back to Cincinnati series earlier this season. Maybe it was June, and Fairbanks was going for the 26th inning in a row of scoreless pitching. Would it set the Rays record?
Yeah.
And he looked so I don't want to say frigid.
Yeah.
He looks so uneven there in Cincinnati, and he's had a couple of times like that. I think we can trust him if he's on, but I think there's also that slight chance that he can be off, and that could cost you. So I guess I'm walking the line on that one.
I feel like he's got to be on because if he's not all there, he's either really great or really bad. This was bad tonight.
They touch him if he's not on. If he doesn't got the confidence.
Well, we all got confidence here on the Sports Hub. Let's go out to Mr. Uncle TJ Reeves. Nice win for the Bulls against a team that beat Houston earlier this year. He's exactly right. I mean, again, people are going to say, oh, it's just the Rice Owls. Okay, well, the Bulls were 2.5 underdogs even after the effort they put up there against the Alabama Crimson Tide, and they were able to win going away. Which, by the way, if you listen to Harry the Greek, it all comes down to the 88% rule.
I get it. And you talked about this, though, again last night. What were we going to see from this Bulls team after last week's plethoric Leo word, plethoric against Alabama? I saw a team that not only had plethoric is.
I don't know what you just said.
All I know is I saw a Bulls team today with no letdown. In fact, I saw him double down with the aggression, and I saw Coach Golish go out here and he led this team, and I saw a lot of confidence, and I saw guys get more confident as the day went on.
Absolutely. All right, let's go out to Mr. TJ Reeves here. Bama beat Ole Miss 24-10. So, Jalen Milroe got an opportunity. I wonder how he did. We'll recap that on the JP Peterson Show Monday through Friday, especially Monday afternoon. From, I believe, 5 to 7. I think it's 4 to 6. I think it'll give us a break there. We'll see. But we will be at the Bucks game on Monday night covering Bucks versus the Eagles. Yes. Monday Night Football for a post-game show. Again, on the Sports Web, getting you ready. I know you love to talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We talked about it a little bit last night when you were on the street in St. Pete. Give me your thoughts here. How good are you feeling about it? Because there was some good news today. It looks like Carlton Davis could be a game-time decision. Kalijah Cansey's most likely not going to play in this game. Also, Savasier Dennis passed to Cavassier. He's not going to play in this game. But they got a break. They got some players that are going to play. Devin White looks like the rookie, the right guard. He's going to play. Carlton Davis, a game-time decision. Overall, how do you feel about this game versus the Philadelphia Eagles?
We talked with Travis again of Rocket Sports and Entertainment today. We said, look, A.J. Brown was ready to implode last week and the week before. Did the Buccaneers go after him? Although they have a defense that can shut him down, I think the Buccaneers play more of a prevent defense, still with the blitzing, still keeping the pressure on Jalen Hurts. But I'm a little more worried about Jalen Hurts out of the pocket with his confidence level than I was Justin Fields last week. So you want to keep everything in front of you, just like the Bulls wanted to do against Rice today. And I think from that standpoint, I love this matchup. I think it's like two intercontinental ballistic missiles heading straight for each other, and it's going to explode right here in Raymond James on Monday night.
Now, is this correct? Rice only had 1 yard of rushing.
They were negative 23.
1 yard.
They were negative 23 at the start of the third quarter.
Wow, that's a lot of passing.
And the thing was, is they didn't really go to it much, but man, every time they did, the Bulls were in the backfield, and they were coming with aggression.
They were also 4 for 5 on fourth downs, but overall, just give me your final thoughts here as we'll wrap it up here live from Raymond James Stadium after the USF Bulls go to 2-2, defeating the Rice Owls 42-29. Final thoughts, Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay.
The next home game is October 14th. Florida Atlantic University will be here. It's going to be a great time, and I want to tell you my final thoughts. The kids out here with the families today, I saw future Bulls, and they were 5 and 4 and 6 years old, dancing in the stands, having a great time. I saw a student body reinvigorated. I saw a Bulls team coached by Alex Galesh that I am madly in love with now. I love the future. It's as bright as everything else going on here in Tampa Bay. Make that Champa Bay.
Well, Champa Bay, and we'll see how it works, but definitely this win goes, it's big time for this program going forward because, again, we talked about it. You know, the danger was if you lose to Rice or you don't have the same type of effort that you put up in Alabama against Alabama and a losing effort, then everything you tried to accomplish versus the Crimson Tide goes by the wayside. Absolutely. One step forward and 2 steps back. We got to get you credentialed here. Thanks a lot to Amped Up Sports. Thanks a lot to Leo Haggerty, who's in Wisconsin. We're going to get you back here, set up this camera, help us out on the field. For the great Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, I'm your host, Peter Blake of the Sports Web. Make sure you tune in to the Over-Under tomorrow with Harry the Greek. He's the host of that show. I'm the co-host. I know you will definitely tune in. You know what? Somebody may be coming on.
Somebody?
Yeah, I think we just said his name, and I think he wants to come on and talk about it. So let's go ahead. Let me see here, because we're about to wrap this up. He says, look in your back room. All right, Harry the Greek. Let me go ahead and try to get him on, give me his thoughts, because I know he watched this game. He also probably bet on this game.
The 88% rule, the home underdog.
He did. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you don't necessarily have a producer. So you got to kind of do it all yourself. There you go. I just sent him the link. So let's see if he will come in
and
here.
How about, let me go ahead and just for the people out there, maybe you're not here in Tampa Bay. We are standing here on the eastern side of this eastern sideline or the visiting team sideline. There is a breeze coming out of the west, northwest.
It is so nice
it's
out.
So
you were so right about this because you pushed for it. I was like, let's do it in the red corner. Let's do it in the press box. And I still like that setup because the lights won't go out. Some of the lights went out still, so I was kind of worried about us not being able to get on. But there you go. Let's go ahead. Get his walk-up music on. That's right. We got walk-up music. We got phone calls. We got it all here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television live from Raymond James Stadium. Here we go.
You don't need walk-up music.
Opa! 88% rule in a full effect. You talked about it at the end of the game. Yes, don't do that. Let me control this. Harry, give me your thoughts on USF's big win over Rice, 42-29.
Listen, Peter, actually, I didn't realize this. Sorry about making everybody so spread out. You don't have to bend over. I got it for you, buddy. I'm all really good here. 88% rule. People that follow this, 2.5-point road favorites, 88% of the time, especially in college football, the home team will win. What a great win for USF, Peter. Boy, you guys look great out there. I'll tell you what, I wish I could see a little more of a panoramic view of the stadium, but I'm sure you're going to show me the video a little bit later on. You guys really locked it down. You did great. Ray, I don't know how you function, but bro, you are awesome.
Well, he is awesome. You're exactly right. And he got out here and he said, you know what? We got to do this. We got to do that. We got to set up this camera. I said, all right, let's get over to the 40-yard line. Over that side, he said, no, USF is going to be a little bit busier. Rice is going to try to get the hell out of here.
They did.
And you were exactly right. They did try to get the hell out of here.
Yes, they did.
We got set up. We probably would have been set up earlier. But my bad.
Where did that defense come from? I mean, -1 or 2 yards rushing in the third quarter, and all of a sudden, I mean, really?
Yeah.
At one point, you know, I got to tell you, man.
The Buccaneer
but I mean,
big plays.
The only time I've ever seen football, I go back, the 85 Bears, the 2000 Ravens, but the Buccaneers, 0 yards or negative yards rushing. You just don't see that ever. Usually a kneel forward for a yard and you call it an even day and you get a plus yard.
Well, the problem is he gave up 491 yards of passing and lots of big plays down the field, namely a Luke McCaffrey. Guys, you need to watch this kid because he looked like his brother today, Christian McCaffrey, whether that was the Bulls defense or how talented he is. And Of course.
Can you imagine
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan bringing him to be there? McCaffrey?
No.
Well, imagine the 49ers in there because he's a slot receiver. He reminded me a lot of like Adam Humphries, but a little bit more out of the backfield with a running back style.
Wide receiver / running back, but more
Wildcat.
wide receiver in this game. What else did you see out of this game, Harry?
You know, I'll tell you what I did see, and I almost seen an absolute disaster for USF at one point when they went for it on 4th down from like the 4-yard line, and he incompleted the pass, and I'm like, oh my God, you cannot give up points like this.
Yeah.
You know, if you're trying to get that momentum going. But boy, when they came out in that next quarter, it just looked like bang, 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 touchdown, bang, 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 touchdown. It was just something that, I mean, how can you not be a USF fan after watching these past 2 games? It's just incredible, Pete.
It is.
You know what?
Incredible.
I'm
Yes.
not dressed up for the occasion. I look like I'm just getting off the beach. You guys look all professional. I'm going to make you guys full screen again.
Harry, can I ask you though?
Yeah,
Can
go
I
ahead,
ask
Pete.
you?
I
We
mean,
did
go ahead,
not-
Ray.
We did not wait. We didn't plan this, but I wore coral. Some call it pink. Pete
It's
wears
pink.
red. It's pink.
It's pink.
Does it
It's
hurt?
pink.
Does it hurt your eyes? I mean, does
But
it?
hang on. Let me see. Hang on. Let me see. No, Ray, I got to be honest with you. You kind of match your lower third. And I think TJ, if he's watching, he's probably going to make a comment and say, you know, Peter, Ray looks pretty damn sexy.
I love that.
I don't
love
think
that guy.
TJ is going to
I
say
love
that
guy.
at all.
You know what's funny?
Oh,
He's
no. TJ will. I bought him dinner. He's
Okay.
going to say it.
He's the
So you
Buccaneers.
bought him dinner.
Wait, you bought
but
him
you
dinner?
haven't bought me dinner
He
yet.
gets on the JP
I'm
Peterson
on
show.
a steak dinner
I
here.
get the call. Hey, TJ's the
Shut up and be quiet.
Oh, you guys are crazy. You know what? I'm going to let you guys take it off from there.
Shut up.
You guys are doing an awesome job. Just the sight of me coming on the show for some reason just takes the train and just puts it off the rails. We'll wait for Friday night, okay? And if you haven't caught it, and whoever's watching this right now, go to A Cup of Ray last night. It's really easy to find. It's not only informative, but it's extremely entertaining. Much love to you guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And
10
you have
a.m. over under. Go ahead
right
and promote it. Yes.
I'm going to promote it. It'll be really easy.
Go
We're going to be 10 a.m. tomorrow, and I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to give you every pick that the Greek likes in the National Football League tomorrow. It's not every single game because you know what? You can't win every single game. We're 12-4 on the season. Our co-host is going to be Ray Kennedy, and Mr. Peter Blake is going to be live tomorrow, 10 o'clock, right here on the Sports Web. You guys have a great time. Thanks for locking it down, and a great win for USF. And TJ, my brother, talk to you soon.
All right, good stuff there. Harry, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire here on the Sports Web. And, of course, he's also on the JP Peterson show on Thursdays.
Thanks.
You know what?
I can always call
I
in.
gotta get you on. We'll figure it out, my friend. We'll figure something out.
Stop hating, Ray. Stop hating.
Stop hating. Over under tomorrow,
I
and you
don't
can
hate.
come out on Monday night if you like to help me with the camera and set up again.
At the
This
patio.
poor old guy. Yes.
I'm coming
Would
to
you
the
like to come to the patio?
I can't. I got to work. But I'm
Okay.
coming to the patio
Well, see,
soon.
there you go. See, right there. I'm on camera. I just asked him to come to the patio. And what did he say?
That's okay, Peter. Yours truly will help you at the patio. I got you, Ray. See you, buddy.
Bye.
Somebody
Wait.
says, dude, wear anything other than that undershirt. I don't know who that is there. As we got, it's okay. It's all right.
Really?
I know.
Really? This isn't an undershirt. It has color. Look. See?
Look at that.
It's color. Y'all are just worried about the guns. See? Right there.
Oh,
Look at
man.
these
I
right
think I
there.
saw more
We
than I
don't
wanted
need-
to see
I
there.
tell you right now, I got to say, Byron Brown is strong at the point of attack. He's definitely strong. Strong quarterback, young quarterback, 18 years old. I think
Does
the
not
sky
look like an 18-year-old.
Yeah,
Does
I
not
think
look like a kid. Does
sky's
not.
the limit for this kid. And I think USF Bulls fans, if you're going to be excited about something, be excited about that kid. Be excited about some of the young players and be excited about this young coach because it certainly seems like he's got this program going in the right direction. Once again, they will face Navy next week. We'll have you covered on the Sports Web live on the JP Peterson Show. And once again, a reminder on Monday night, patio first. I think it's going to be 4 to 6. And then at the game, of course, a 7:15 start time. And then afterwards, a post-game edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show. For the great Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, I'm your host, Peter Blake. USF wins 42-29 over the Rice Owls here live from Raymond James Stadium. 3 things. What do we say, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy?
Bring the passion.
Bring your excitement.
Just don't bring any.
Nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the sports web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, including USF Bulls fans, it's your time. Have a great night, and we'll see you soon on the evolution of Sports Talk Television.
Thank you.